Very good afternoon. Welcome to Tittise Neustadt for big hill ski jumping. We don't come here too often, but when we do, it's always a big occasion. And the reason we're here is the cancellation of the original competitions in the Czech Republic at Liberec for a combination of financial and logistical reasons. Well, the one training jump and qualification have been safely completed. Yesterday's qualification had to be cancelled due to the very high winds, but today has been a really good competition in terms of the training and also the qualification, with some really good efforts, particularly by the likes of Kamil Stock and also Severin Freund. There you have the first round order after the qualification. And so this the lineup for the first of the two rounds. Rune Velter, another man who's been knocking on the door, 4th and 2nd last weekend in Villingen. Kamil Stock up to 140 meters in training and also in the qualification phase. He did take his qualification efforts, and in fact most of them did. And Jakob Jander, who notched up the first of his World Cup victories here back in 2005. 130 meters in training, and that's pretty good. And Jakob Jander, well, that is the sort of form we've been looking for from him for many a week, many a month. 127.5, bonus point territory, nicely done. The style, I would think, worthy of 18s. Timing not bad off the table, and you can see there much more relaxed, and that's not a bad telemark at all, with a pretty straight back, good spacing, and that's a chunky lead. 122.7 points compared to Colorado's 103.6. So that really advanced Sami Niemi into the second round. Now Kenneth Ganganes for Norway. Backwind had just strengthened a little, but the timing didn't look too bad. And neither was the landing there for Kenneth. Mid-20s from Lillehammer, which is where he's based. 125.5, so 0.9 of a point in terms of distance bonus. Now, I wouldn't say the start was as good as Jander's. It certainly wasn't in terms of the touchdown, but it's going to put him solid into second place, plus 7.6. There you can see that strengthening wind that he gained, whereas Jander was 5.2. Now, Clemens Moranka, another of the athletes here who has just in recent times looked as if he might be turning a corner, and I do say might be, because he's not the most consistent. But that is over the calculation line, and Lukas Krojcek needs these good results now to make his final selections. 127, and just looking at the compensation here for Moranka, that's very well timed, actually. Really well done by Moranka, so there are good signs at the right time for Clemens. And 17.5 the average there. Again, I'd still give Jander the better telemark landing, and Moranka, you can see not so much the top three. Sternen, Norway, be an outsider for a place in the Norwegian team for Falun. So this weekend is pretty important. There is Vickerson, the ski flying, but that may see a more particular group of athletes going for that. And Sternen again in that sort of 126, 127 zone. Just saw the streamers there. The wind at the moment is relatively quiet. Backwind in all sectors, but not more than a meter per second. Werner Schuster there, absolutely delighted in Millingen when Severin Freund notched up his third victory of the season. Toshimoto's teammate, Kobayashi. And also not far away from that 127 zone, in fact 127. And I thought this was executed quite well, actually. So given that the backwind has strengthened, now this will be vying for the lead. Ski's pretty flat, actually, nice and aerodynamic, relaxed in the air. And if that's worthy of 18, you know. So Kobayashi first, yeah, vying for the lead and takes it 125.4 ahead of Giambattista Italy, Giambattista Cali from Italy in D, and Werner Helauer from Germany in box E. This is Davide Bressadola, probably the best of the Italians still, and indeed Colorado, who's down in 9th place, and Paolo Bernardi really he's got one man who probably isn't going to win any medals at the World Championships, but if he could finish in the top 10, that would be a really good step forward. And Bernardi, a proven successful coach coming into the Italian team, who had really had a team coaching the Italian boys for the best part of a decade. So Bernardi coming in to try and make a difference, but he knows it's a step-by-step process. But 5th place at the moment, he is about 7 points off the lead as it stands. Manuel Poppinger for Austria. That looked pretty powerful. The aggression was there. And that, in terms of performance, should, I think, take him into the lead. And Austria need Poppinger now. 129. And excited. This is good. And that's not bad either. Tittise Neustadt, very much a health spa centre as well as a winter sports playground. And Schnitzel, now this could be interesting. Schnitzel earlier on over 130 meters. And he's over 125, but not to 130. The winner of qualification, by the way, Markus Eisenbichler with 142 meters. Jewa, who actually was knocked down into 2nd place because of really a gust of favorable front wind, 143. And those were the 2 top men in qualification of those who had to qualify. We had a field of 62. 52 of them had to look for one of 40 places. And of those who were pre-qualified, Stock at 140, Schlierenzau at 140, Freund at 142 meters. Those were the standout figures. Stefan Kraft, there he is, 127.5. And his lead in the overall World Cup has been evaporating. Ziobro almost, but not quite into bonus point territory, I don't think, there for Ziobro. 123, couple of meters shy. Poppinger into the lead, by the way. I should have confirmed that for you. The 25-year-old who, it's taken him a while this season to get a grip with the senior elite squad. A good trip out to Japan, some form on the big ski flying hill in Bad Mittendorf, but Poppinger could be on his way to a good result here today. Next up is Manuel Fettner. Now, Fettner also very strong in the trial round, 130.5 meters in qualification. Little bit of paddling of the skis, but he's over the 125-meter mark as well. So the quality of this early part of the first round here is pretty good. Fettner, only the 19th to go, but again, I think this will probably catch the eye of the judges in terms of a mark of perhaps 18 out of 20. 127, backwind support 7.6 points, that's useful. So Austria first and third. Poppinger leads, Fettner third. And Thomas Diethardt on his way, yet to really deliver for the Austrians this season. And again, coming up short on that landing. Yeah, it would have been nice to just seen a little bit more in-run and perhaps on the side there, but Diethardt with pressure on his shoulders. Comes into today's competition ranked 30th. One could be that Stock had actually lost a little more weight and therefore the tolerance had exceeded 2 centimeters. Or the fact is that they'd just not ensured that the suit he was using was within the actual tolerance allowance. So Hilda on his way now, as we resume. Poppinger in the lead for Austria, 129. Hilda, ooh, was he the right side, was he the wrong side? 123 was the wrong side. Last time we had a competition here, we had 2 of them in December 2013. And the first of those 2 was won by Thomas Morgenstern, but many of you might well remember that in the second competition, in the first round, he had a fall. Steepness that it has, and also the pressure that you feel as you come down. Desmond into the compression, onto the table, and the takeoff there. Confident young man, and there's a good result. Nets Desmond, not always consistent, but has the ability, as you can see, 128.5. That challenges Poppinger. Now, this will be interesting because just looking at the wind compensation, a little bit more for Nets Desmond. And Goran Janus pleased with that. Nets is going to figure in Goran's pick for the World Championships, no doubt. Second, third. Takeuchi now. Here's a man who I think to keep an eye on because the form has been improving. And he's also had some form here. 6th in the second of the competitions in December 2013, and he's over into a little bit of bonus point areas. 127, so that's 2 meters over the calculations line, so that's a bonus of 3.6 points. And he holds things together pretty well through the flight phase. And the touchdown is not bad at all. There's a quiet piece of happiness there. And 5th place. Takeuchi, by the way, less than a meter off the lead, still held by Popinga. Pungata now for the Slovenians, but we'll get to him because he will be the next to go, but only those 10 there are absolutely safe. But good to see Bresadola there in at 10th place. All of these men, you can see Thomas Tittise in 11th place, 122.5 meters, 117.9 points. Those are the key figures at the moment, with Tom Hilder just behind him. 117.9 points to keep in mind. Anybody who accumulates less than that is going to let the likes of Diethard and Hilder back into the event. But this is the best so far. Manuel Popinga, Austria, member of the Innsbruck Bergisel Club, the Austrian Tyrol. This result came in the second event when Kamil Stock was the winner, and he was 13th on that occasion. But he's popular, and a lot of people, a lot of fans really hoping that he can earn himself a place in the German team. Home for him these days is Oberstdorf. In-run speed here is pretty inviting. On average, they're around 91.4 to 91.8 kilometers. And within his compass, Neumar doing pretty well. Just outside the top 20 in the World Cup rankings at the moment. Would obviously like to improve that ranking. And Neumar at the moment into 11th place, denying Diethard a qualification opportunity for the second round. And now Yuri Tepes, who's been producing good stuff recently, and does so again. And this is what we were hoping to see from the likes of Yuri Tepes, a little bit more consistency, and now it's beginning to happen. So this is really good news. Tepes, 129.5. Half a meter further than Manuel Popinga. Style, backwinds, compensation is enough for first place. 127.5. So Yuri Tepes, who's had good recent results. 5th in Winningen in the first of the 2 competitions last weekend, but 7th in Zakopane, 7th in Sapporo, 3rd in Bad Mittendorf, and now Jewa, who was second best in the qualification, 143 meters. Oh, and he's got the distance there, and he really has taken the field apart there. That is a big difference. 138 meters, and Jewa, well, like quite a few in this field, talented, but often doesn't put 2 good efforts together. He's given himself a real platform from which to attack in the second round. And Piotr Jewa with a best result of 8th on the ski flying hill. You can see he's excited, but he needs to control that. A one-time World Cup winner, that was in 2013 in Oslo, and now Marinus Kraus, another aspirant for a World Championship place with the German team. And Kraus, who came back to a bit of form with an 8th place finish in the second event at Willingen last weekend. That's going to be good enough to put him in to the second round. Anders Jakobsen now. Jakobsen, who's also got form here at Tittise, Neustadt. One would hope that he can produce something. He was a runner-up and finished 4th in the 2 events won by Mauish in 2007. And that's terrific. Nice landing there. And 132.5. This has got to put him into at least 2nd place. I don't think he can overtake Jewa because of the differential in meters, 5.5 more meters to the Polish athlete. But the star marks are going to be okay. They're going to be in the 18s. And again, really good timing off the table. Within a meter of coming off that table, the legs were straight, and 2nd place. And Jakobsen, 8.8 points, though, off the leader, Jewa, so that's a good 5 meters. Somewhat pensive Peter Preuch, you saw there momentarily. Now Ito, interesting to see what he can do on this hill. Yeah, I thought we might pick up something like that from Ito. The Japanese have this really good potential for the World Championships if they can keep the likes of Takauchi and Ito. And remember, we're seeing better things now from Toshimoto, and Kobayashi is still 5th, the best Japanese in the rankings at the moment here. And we've got Kasai still to come. So those of you who admire the Japanese team will see where I'm pointing. And Ito into 4th place, and now the winner of qualification ahead of Jewa, who currently leads. This is Markus Eisenbichler. 142 meters to win the qualification in terms of distance achieved, and now looking to at least get to 130, which he has, 130.5. Eisenbichler. Six top 10s. One or two of the athletes talk about this hill as being a sort of mini flying hill. Yone Damian to come. So, Yone Damian. Next to come, Jewa in the lead at the moment, 141 points ahead of Jakobsen of Norway. Eisenbichler in 3rd place. So, the skis of the Slovenian Yone Damian. Getting ready to tucked down this steep in run, building the speed, coming down to the radius, onto the table. And Damien, good power off the table. But in fact, in that sort of 125-meter zone, we saw the shallow trajectory there. Didn't get that quite right. But I think he'll probably be safe enough. $11 to come. So with Damien now just looking where you've got to be. So you need to be in 19th, 18th place. He's gone into 13th. So Runevelter now knocking on the door in Villingen. An excellent second place in the second of the two events last weekend, and that looked really good from Velter, and he's up there in a challenging position. 129.5. That must surely put him in or around the top 5. That's what I would think. But Jewa still with a useful lead, still with that lead of the best part of 5 meters over Jakobsen, over Eisenbichler. Ten to come, and now Camel Stock, 140 meters in training, 140 in qualification. Can he go after Jewa? I think he can. He's certainly, that is fantastic. And the 19s are coming his way. Absolutely, really well executed. 136, but he's 2 meters short of Jewa. Now this is interesting here. Has he got more backwind compensation? The answer is yes. Has he got better star marks? The answer is yes. So the gap, that 2 meter differential in distance, is being closed here by Stock. Lucas Krojcek rightly delighted with that. Now, Stock, first place. Indeed, 141.4. So Richard Freitag now. Big cheer. Really good angle, showed the steepness of this Neustadt Tittise hill, and that goes to a groan now. Interesting to see the replay here. This man who's had 2 victories so far, Innsbruck and Engelberg. Now, let's hope we get a really good replay. No, not a good replay. So it doesn't really help us in terms of analysis. 122. Where's that going to put him? 28th place is that, and he's right on the edge of elimination because Richard Freitag is well aware that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to come, and he could be going out of this. And here's Schlery, next man to go. One good competition, needs that. There's a good opener, isn't it? 140 meters, that's what he's capable of. Schlierenzauer, 136, that's up there with Camel Stock. Now Stock had 19s in there for style. I don't think this is quite as accurate, and the backwind compensation isn't as much for Schlery. landing isn't quite as good. It's worthy of 18.5, but not 19 in my opinion. But let's see what they say. 18.5, that's unanimity amongst the 5 judges there. Third place for Schleri. Now, he's only 2.7 points behind the leader, Kamil Stock, in terms of distance. So it's getting a little tighter. Stock by 0.4 ahead of Zewa. It's a 1-2 Poland situation. But now Kasai. And Kasai lays down a wonderful marker for the opener. 137.5. 2 competitions here 2 years ago, and he was third in the second one of those. And Kasai, now again, he's not going to get the 19s, I don't think. 18.5, 137.5. He's going to be there or thereabouts, but he won't take the lead. Third place, 140, and he's now 140.4, so Kasai only a point off the leader. And all the time, Freitag being dropped down the order. Anders van der Mel now just going down. Freitag in 29th place, 122 meters. 2 more men better than him, and he's out. And there's one dismissal. Anders van der Mel. One victory for him this season. That came when they went to Russia, Nizhny Tagil, in the first of the 2 competitions there. So Kasai in third place, just a single point separating the first 3 at the moment. Kasai third, Schlierenzau fourth. Now Van der Mel into 7th place. Ten points to find for Van der Mel, and that's over 5 meters. Now Michael Heibert, the former World Cup leader, winner in Bishop's Open, who slipped down in the World Cup rankings to 5th place. And that is short of the calculation line. And I was wondering last weekend whether they'd perhaps give him a rest or persuade him to take some time out. But 123, now that's only a fraction more than Richard Freitag. So this could be bad news for this man, who in the last 3 competitions has been 10th, 20th and 18th, and he's 17th at the moment. He's in trouble, Michael Heibach, but the next man is in absolutely stonking form. And just wait for the roar. This is the man who equaled the hill record in the one and only training round today. And it is, of course, Severin Freund. Very confident at the moment. Lovely body shape over the skis. Telemark is good, and he's up there, and the crowd love it. Looking for his 4th win of the season. 138.5, and it's quality. And he's going to take the lead away from Kamil Stock. That's for sure. And it's like party time here, particularly with Freund. This is an excellent opener. Remember, the first 3 were covered by only a point. It's different now. And 149.5, and the roar of applause and happiness from the fans. And Freund putting himself in a very strong position here. Kudelka. Just a message to Freund that it's not going to be all his own way in the second round. That's up there with Kamil Stock on 136. And style-wise, probably pretty similar. So Freund for Germany, leading from Stock and Jewa, second and third for Poland. Kasai fourth. The top five separated by 9 points, 5 meters. Richard Charlotte pretty happy with that. Fourth place for Kudelka. He's competitive. He's within that 5-meter band of athletes. So is Kasai. The top five separated by 5. And now Petr Preuc. Never doubt this man's confidence. Backwind's just softened a little bit here for Preuc. He needs the distance, and he's got it. Petr Preuc, winner in Sapporo, 7 podiums in all. His best result here, 11th. That was a couple of seasons ago, and 1:41.5. And he outdistances Severin Freund, which he needs to do because the compensation marks are not as, or the compensation points are not as big for him. But this is an excellent piece of timing and touchdown. That's going to score in the 19s as well. So is it going to be Slovenia? Goran Janus just waiting for the confirmation. Again, you could just see the legs straightening in that meter off the table there. And that is spot on. Second place. And 0.3 of a point. And the fans are happy for Freund, the German fans who are predominant here. 0.3 between Freund and Preuc. And now the World Cup leader, Stefan Kraft. Yet to get over 130 meters today. What he has now. But he's a long way from 140, and that's the crucial point at the moment. 134 meters, and it's just worth reflecting on the fact that Kraft's lead over Preuc has shrunk to 29 points after last weekend's Villingen weekend. And there's every possibility now that we could have a new World Cup leader before the day is out. So Freund takes the honours of the first round, but has a 0.3 advantage over Petr Preuc. Kamil Stock is third, and he's got 8.1 points to find, so getting close to 5 meters. Similarly for Jewa, similarly for Kudelka and Kasai. So the first two separated by a toenail, and the rest in third, fourth, fifth are separated by 5 meters, and Kasai in sixth add to that. Schlierenzau's got a bit more work to do, and then working down to the last 10 who've qualified for the second round, and here they are. And Freitag is out, but Marinus Kraus survives, as does Tom Hilde and Thomas Dietart. And so disappointment really for these men. Toshimoto, I thought he would have done enough, but I'm disappointed for him. Deschwanden again, for me, disappointing. Sakuyama, no further part in today's competition, likewise Freitag. And the best 30, of course, in about 15 minutes will go in reverse order.